All right, final topic, Matt. Our top 5 bromances. Bromances.
And you're listening to this on a Monday, so it's Man Crush Monday.
Hashtag. All right, so Matt came up with his idea, and it's like we call it a bromance. Obviously, a bromance is mostly between two guys that are bros. They know each other, etc. I feel like this is like kind of like top 5 male idols.
In a way, yeah.
In a way. So, but it's funny to call it bromances.
Yeah.
So, you want me to start? You want to start?
You go ahead.
All right. We'll start with my number 5. It is Dane Cook.
Really?
And most of the people on my list have some sort of reason to be here. Not just because I really like that person or, obviously I like his earlier comedy. Okay. I like his first couple CDs and such, and he kind of went downhill on a hill. Yay, South. Anyway, so he went downhill a little bit, and then he came back up a little bit. But the biggest thing is, back when I first met Rachel, I wanted to kind of get a little style going. And so I wanted to stylize my hair. Obviously, now it's totally different. Well, right now it's flat, but the whole faux hawk thing or stuff.
Right.
But at first I was like, man, I really want to style my hair like Dane Cook. Because he had that kind of just like put a little bit in it. It's fluffy and just up in the air.
Messy
and stuff
look,
like that.
kind of look.
Yeah. So at the time I was listening to him and I really liked his style and what he was wearing and things like that. So it kind of influenced me a little bit. It was a nice kick to put me in the direction of my, at least, hairstyling. And I like his, very early humor where he's talking about video games and such.
Yeah. So, have you cared for any of his movies at all, or?
Employee of the Month was okay.
Right.
But the rest of them, maybe not. I guess he was funny in Waiting, but it's not like he was a main character. Was
Jessica Simpson in that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Employee of the Month.
Employee of the Month. Okay.
It was It was very formula.
Right.
So, do you like Dane Cook?
His comedy's pretty funny. Yeah.
I have not kept up with him recently. Is he?
I haven't either.
Gotcha.
So I pretty much listened to him through you all.
Yeah.
I think we went to. No, that was Tosh. We listened to on the way to Gen Con.
Yeah.
Okay. But I've listened to him through you all at a practice or something. Like a lot, like a whole CD one time.
He's got a lot of like video game humor and stuff like that, but he took a turn for like a lot of overly sexualized jokes and stuff.
Right.
Very crude. At that point, I think he was going through a lot of personal stuff, and it just, I don't know.
I remember something about a mannequin.
Maybe I don't remember that part.
You know, okay.
Anyway, what's your top 5, Matt?
My top 5. I kind of cheated on this one a hair, but well, it's for watching them dance. I would always like to be able to dance really good.
Kevin Bacon?
No, not Footloose. Not Footloose. No, but when Usher, like when the Confessions album came out, I used to ride around and jam to that, but he had a video for Burned, and I would just sit there and watch it. There was a point in that video where he just stops and dances. It's unbelievable. But I'm also going to include in the same category because there's a guy that was pretty popular on YouTube called Marcus Scott Nonstop. I knew the Nonstop. I had to look up his actual name. He would dance to like dubstep music. I'd almost bet if I showed you a video of this guy, you would know who he is. But just really good at the dubstep. Could do all the crazy like robotic pop and lock kind of crazy stuff. But just for the dancing reasons, I guess, because I can't dance and I would really like to. And if I could pick someone to dance like, it would be these two. So
I got you. No, that's cool. I've watched a few of those dubstep dancers, and yeah, man, they can rock it.
Yeah, this guy's I thought he tours with someone. I'm not totally sure who, but he's like I said, if I showed you his video, he did a big one for it was Cinema. I think was his first one he did, where he was like dancing in front of a movie theater.
What about the dancing music video with Christopher Walken? Is that inspiring to you?
Not really.
Do you know what I'm talking about? You're
talking the SNL one?
No, it's a real music video. I want to say it's Prodigy, but I don't think it is. It might be Chemical Brothers.
That was Fat Boy Slim.
Fat Boy Slim. Yes. It was funny.
Yeah, that was good. That was funny. Yeah, that was a good watch.
Yeah.
But no, these guys are more, I guess, your R&B kind kind of stuff. But like, even after, I think that was still in the MTV era when Confessions might have been out. But whenever it kind of hit YouTube, I would just sit there and watch it over and over and just wish I could dance like these guys.
Nice.
But so
Sailor
Usher.
Usher. My number 4 is Michael C. Hall. Do you know who this is?
No?
He's Dexter.
Oh, okay.
I for 1 year I got hooked on the Dexter series. It was probably maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I watched pretty much all of it. Binge watched it at work. I watched it on my own time. But no, I watched a lot of it. He is a great actor. His character was awesome. I mean, you can argue some seasons or whatever, right. But for the most part, his character, this guy is phenomenal. And I feel like he's a good actor. And the character was just really fun. He's like a vigilante. Right. You know what I mean? And I'm all about some vigilantes. Right. Obviously the Punisher, etc. So that's pretty much it. I really, really liked his acting style and the character and how he portrayed him and everything. And I think he just, if I was going to be an actor, that's the kind of stuff I'd like to do. Because I probably wouldn't be able to do action so much, I think. But that kind of stuff, like more like, right. Not really, I guess not dark, but like more moody. Yeah. I don't know. I know Nikki has harassed me a few times to try and pick that series up and watch it. But has she seen it? Or she wants to, but she doesn't really want. Y'all don't watch stuff outside. Well, I mean, she's not going to sit there and take up the living room and watch something I don't want to watch with her. Let me tell you this. But that goes different for football season. So, she should have played fantasy football. Maybe it'll get her into it. Watch at least the first season. I feel like the first season they could have just stopped there. Really? It is awesome. Okay. Well, maybe someday we'll check it out. She was asking here recently if there was a new series or something we could watch. So yeah, maybe. Yeah. My number 4, he is America's favorite redneck. The girls love him. Mr. Daryl Dixon from Walking Dead. Norman Reedus. I gotcha. Yeah. Fair enough. Who'd you think I was talking about? You might be a redneck guy? No, Brian Foxworthy? No. No. Redneck. I know we live in Kentucky, Matt, but no. Redneck because that's how he is on the show. I actually was fortunate enough to meet this man. Super cool. Very. It was when the first season of Walking Dead came out. We went to Dragon Con in Atlanta, and it was funny. He was there with what's the guy's name? Michael Patrick Flannery, I believe, from the other guy from Boondock Saints. If I said his name wrong, I know it's like a 3-name deal like that. But they were standing there side by side. It was really weird because even though Walking Dead is catapulted into what it is now, at that time you could just walk up to anyone in that cast, and there was no line at all. Really? Yeah. So Norman Reedus is there. So we're like, well, let's go talk to him. Whatever. He's standing there. He's drinking a beer to begin with. Nice. And we walk up, meet him. He's super cool. And he I think we decided for him to sign the picture to my wife, and her name is Nikki. And he started singing "Darling Nikki" by Prince. I don't know if you've ever heard the song or not. I'm bad with names of songs, but maybe. It's pretty much a song about a prostitute in a hotel lobby. Oh, so he started singing that song. We should play it. If somebody's playing this, you can rewind it and play a drinking game for how many times we talked about prostitutes. It has come up a lot in this episode. Wow. Well, partly that was somewhat the NFL's fault. But, yeah, way to go, NFL. Yeah. And we got to meet him. He came to a convention here in Louisville, and I've got this epic picture. It was my profile pic on Facebook for a while, where the kids wanted a picture with him because they watched Walking Dead somewhat. They're not caught up, but or at least my daughter does. My son was kind of into it, not really. But we were like, hey, you want a picture with the kids, or we're getting a picture for the kids, with them or whatever. And he picks my daughter up in his arm, holding her. And I was like, well, where do you want my son to stay? And he said, hand him here. And he's holding both of them in his arms. That's awesome.
And we got a picture of both of them being held by Norman Reedus. So he's a super cool guy. He's also, I like the way he acts, because they say in like fight scenes and stuff, like he does not hold back. Evidently.
Really?
Like he's like for real. Like he's not punching them like full on in the face or anything, but they act like anytime where like someone's holding,
he's sparring with them pretty much,
well, like,
but making it look brutal.
Like you can tell like when people are pulling punches and stuff,
yeah,
it looks unbelievable. But like I know one scene they're saying they were trying to hold him, and he is like for real fighting to get away from them. So they're saying they had to for real try and restrain this guy, and they said, you know, he's a bulldog pretty much, and it took a lot to try and hold him for the scene. But
that's pretty cool.
So I don't know.
Have you met him another time or just that one?
Well, there was 2 times. The one time in Atlanta, and then we met him a few years later when he came to Louisville.
Did he remember you or
no? I mean, he's meeting so many people anymore. So
gotcha. That would have been cool though.
Yeah.
But well, cool. My number 3 is Ben Wyman. Wine Man.
Why are you saying people I don't know?
He's
an actor,
guitar player for Dillinger Escape Plan.
Oh, okay.
The reason he's on my list is because when we first started the band, obviously one of the biggest influences at the time was Dillinger Escape Plan. And this guy goes absolutely insane on stage with his guitar while playing the most complicated things ever. Mm-hmm. So if you ever look up Dillinger Escape Plan live on YouTube and watch some videos, he's the main guitar player. He is freaking out. He looks like he's basically spastic.
Right.
And I feel like I kind of modeled a lot of what I do on stage after him because he's such a huge influence with that. His guitar style, I mean, it's spastic and stuff, and I've got a lot of that influence in me too. But I mean, he goes a little bit overboard with it, I think.
Right.
Which is good for their style, but obviously wouldn't fit in a lot of the music that I write. Mm-hmm. But just the overall performance level of this guy on stage is by far why he's on my list.
Is he the one that was poking the ceiling tiles out at the Keswick?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I heard the story, but I didn't.
I think multiple of them were.
Oh, really?
He accidentally poked it with his guitar, though.
Yes.
And it started it, and then Greg or whatever the main guy was.
It turned into a game.
Yeah, it turned into we're going to pay for this building after this is done. They're in the early days, they were probably a lot more destructive than they are now.
Right.
But it's very sad, like you said, they are calling it quits. Mm-hmm.
You did find out where that's true or whatever.
I watched an interview, and basically the way they said it was, we're kind of ending on they say a high note. I think they're ending on we got off the apex note.
Right.
You know, they're coming down that slope of, we've done a lot of this. Mm-hmm. We have like 6 or 7 albums, very similar music. If you've never listened to Dillinger Escape Plan, the first couple albums are really differentiated, but then the songs on the early or the newer albums, you can almost start it anywhere and kind of get lost for a few seconds before you say, oh, that's that song.
Right.
So they're a very, very specific style, and I feel like they've kind of did what they can do with this, and they want to move on to new stuff before they drive it into the ground, then call it quits.
Right.
So it makes sense. But anyway, his style, specifically performance on stage, is what got him on my list.
Coolness. My number 3 is Stephen Amell. You might not recognize that name. I think I actually did talk about him in the last episode. He plays Oliver Queen on Arrow. On the TV series. He was also slated as Casey Jones in the newest Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. This guy's he's beastly. You know, he's pretty strong, fit, and everything. I like the way he does his role on the TV. He also, though, he does like once or twice a week, he gets on Facebook and does that whole like live chat thing.
Oh, that's cool.
Every week. And very interactive with fans and everything. And I think my wife told me, I haven't seen this one, but he evidently does a fan art Friday where you can send him art. He'll show it and, show it to everybody and this and that. So he's super cool. He raises a lot of money, I think, for charities and stuff. The closest I ever got with this guy was he walked by me, and it was kind of like, oh wow, there he is. Look at that.
I'm assuming at Dragon Con.
Well, this was at something here in Louisville. They had a lot of the Arrow cast there. We met one of the people from the cast.
Oh, that was 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
We met the girl that plays Laurel on Arrow, but his line was ridiculous. I mean, girls are in love with this dude. Guys are in love with this dude. He's a cool guy, you know. So
that's pretty cool.
Stephen Amell.
Cool. Yep, I need to watch some of those.
Yeah, it's entertaining. It's on the CW. It's got a CW feel to it, but sometimes there's a lot of moments in that show that are pretty good. So it's for being DC. It's one of my more favorite kind of DC things. But
well, nice. My number 2, Matt, is probably the closest thing to what people are going to call a bromance.
Okay.
Or a man crush Monday, except that's not why he's on my list. Brad Pitt.
I'm not going to argue on that one.
The reason is because he's in some of my favorite movies. One being Fight Club.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure it's still number 1. I haven't sat down and really thought about it, but it's been number 1 since the day it came out. Man, it's so good.
Right.
I kind of hope Fight Club 2 comes out, but I mean, it's like a graphic novel right now, so who knows. But anyway, Fight Club, the Oceans series, Oceans 11, 12, 13, in that order. And then you got Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Did you see that?
That movie, when it came out, I was kind of like, oh, whatever. Really good.
Oh, it's so
It was
good.
really good.
Yeah. That's one of those movies. I mean, it's not very violent or anything. It's got a lot of action and over the top stuff or whatever.
Right.
But man, it is really, really fun.
Yeah.
It's a fun movie. Then you got Snatch, right?
Love Snatch.
Oh man, I agree. That movie that's pretty much as close to Fight. Well, no.
Well, he was a boxer in it. It was a little bit more like, I don't know, what was Snatch more like? I don't want to say Pulp Fiction, but
like the movie Quentin Tarantino wish he directed.
Yeah, it kind of had that style to it. It didn't jump around timeline wise the way Pulp Fiction did, but I mean, it was kind of in that realm.
Yeah, it's a super good movie. And then finally, Inglourious Bastards.
I haven't seen that, but
whoa,
yeah, trust me, when it came out, I was like, I want to see this.
I have it.
Yeah,
you may borrow it.
Cool.
I think I have it.
Yeah.
I forget what movies I have, so I have a database in my phone, so I would quit buying Blu-rays for the second time.
Yeah.
That's sad.
I don't know. Whenever I think of actors and actresses, I scale how good I think they are on the range of characters. And Brad Pitt is up there with like all the movies you just said. Like everyone's a different role.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, there's movies that I didn't even mention, like the one where he was like the volleyball or what. He played like a very mentally challenged guy.
Oh, really? I don't remember that.
I don't remember the name of it.
But I mean, you got like the Benjamin Button movie. He was a vampire.
Oh yeah, he was in Interview with a Vampire.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, he was in Interview with a Vampire. He's just been all this different stuff. In 7, he was a detective.
I forgot he was in 7.
Yeah,
I mean,
don't look in the box.
I didn't. I didn't forget he was in 7. I just forgot about the movie 7.
Yeah.
Even though I did mention it earlier,
Right.
but I made this list before that.
Yeah, so it's he is definitely, if we ever do top 5 just actors, he would be there just for that, because I always gauge it on that. How many different roles can you do?
So on that list, where would Johnny Depp be?
That's the hard. If I had to do a quick thing, I could tell you my top 3 probably would be Depp, Pitt, and Wahlberg.
Oh, Mark Wahlberg is yeah.
Yeah, those are probably my top 3 on actors. And then like some people can kind of, Denzel's really good too. He does a lot of different roles.
Yeah.
And Morgan Freeman, even though a lot of his roles are kind of the samey, but he pulls them off so good though.
He does. I think they cast him into his voice.
Yeah.
But what about like Will Smith?
Will Smith's,
Maybe not right now, but
have I ever told you I met Will Smith?
did you really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
I met him when he was the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I have he went to a local record store by me, and he was promoting, it was when Parents Just Don't Understand, when he was the Fresh Prince.
Really?
And I have a 45 sleeve signed by him, and then I had a big poster that was signed by him and Jazzy Jeff.
Was he pretty cool?
Yeah. Yeah, he's nice.
That's awesome.
I didn't get to talk to him like really extensively or anything, but I just met him. He was nice.
Pretty much the time it takes him to sign it all.
Yeah, because there was a pretty decent line going out that store for that.
That's awesome.
So
yeah, well, we should do that. Top 5 actor and actresses. That would be cool. But not right now.
I already filled mine out. But
well, spoiler alert.
yeah.
Anyway, what's your number 2?
My number 2, which is funny. Why wouldn't I bring this guy up? I don't know. He gets typecast too, but Ryan Reynolds.
All right. Well, yeah. Explain to the audience, but yeah.
Yeah. Ryan Reynolds, back like right out of high school, he was on a show called Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place. I don't know if you ever saw this.
No.
And it evolved into Two Guys and a Girl. It was just a sitcom. I think it lasted like 3 seasons or so. Super funny. Really, all 3 people that were involved in it were really good. It was pretty funny.
I see what you mean about typecast, though.
Yeah, he's always kind of the same, like snarky, got a smart mouth kind of character.
The Van Wilder.
And sometimes it's funny whenever, which I've heard him interviewed, he sounds really nice, but I tend to think that when people are always doing the same character, I think they're not acting and they're just being themselves.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean, because there's a couple that are like that, but then you find out they're like totally different. They just do it so well, they always get, like, a lot of villains are like that.
Right. Well, villains, obviously, they're not going to act like that all the time, but
well, I mean, just like if they're a jerk.
Yeah.
Like a jerk. Like, you don't have to be like a Bond villain, but like, like just the antagonist of the show. Right.
Yeah. So it started, my love for Ryan Reynolds started then. I always just like this dude. I'm not going to say he made the show, because like I said, they all 3 were good, but he definitely was my favorite character on there. Then he went on to do different things, and Deadpool.
Yeah,
he was awesome in Deadpool. I Am Jealous. He did get to roll around naked with Sandra Bullock in God, was it The Proposal? I think, yeah, The Proposal. I don't know if you ever saw that or not.
I'm pretty sure I have, but
she was his boss, but she was Canadian and she was trying to become a citizen.
Yes.
So they faked a marriage or whatever. Or
that was actually really good.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
And he ends up being like rich or part of a family that's like
they
really
own
rich.
the town.
Yeah,
so like
everything's named after him.
Everything's named after them, right? And
you know what? I was gonna say he's always been a jerk, but he wasn't that character in that.
No, but he was still.
He had a little bit.
He still has that snarky, witty comeback.
Oh yeah, he did have the witty, but he wasn't like a jerk.
No, he's never really a jerk. He's just always like with the comebacks.
I gotcha.
You know what I mean? That kind of deal.
Right.
But and I'll give him a pass on Green Lantern.
I got that for Christmas and it's still in shrink.
Yeah,
like 4 years ago.
You could probably keep it there and be okay, but
it's not even worth watching.
I mean, if you own it.
But it's in shrink. I can take it up and sell it.
It wasn't awful, but it definitely wasn't like.
It wasn't like I want to buy this on Blu-ray.
No.
I'm the sucker.
Yeah, you got it.
I got it for a gift though.
No, that's different.
Honorable mentions?
Sure.
All right. Here's my honorable mention. I feel like the first honorable mention is Joey Sturgis, who is the pretty much premier music editing guru. He's the guy who did pretty much every CD for Rise Records.
Gotcha. I was this name sounded familiar because you've talked about him.
A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Just kidding. In Louisville. No. A long time ago, many years ago, everyone tried to come out with a CD that achieved that punchiness.
Right.
Right. They were getting crazy messy boogie cabinets and getting this really crunchy sound, but every CD that came out after that, it's mixed and mastered a little bit heavier and a little bit heavier. He came out and was like, wham, kick open the door. This is the sound that everybody wanted to have 15, 20 years ago.
Right.
He is making hardcore music, metalcore, and enter your core, MeepleCore. No, he's making this kind of music sound the way that people wanted it to sound in their head.
Mm-hmm.
And through their speakers, and he's doing it phenomenally. He's not like, Emmy award winning or anything, but for this style of music, he is doing a phenomenal job, and he has created a huge following of mimickers doing the same stuff that he's doing.
Right.
And I hope that through editing music that I can achieve some sort of sound that he. Well, I mean, I know I can because you could buy his plugins. So I can achieve his style similar to it. But yeah, my second honorable mention, I feel very bad for not putting Tom Vassell on here. And the reason is not because I'm a fanboy and trying to suck up to Tom because I'm on the Dice Tower, but The biggest reason is because many years ago, 2011, I started watching. I was like, man, I want to know more about board games. I played Settlers of Catan, played Tigers and Euphrates. Those are the first two I played. And I was like, I'm hungry for more. And I came across his YouTube channel and literally was just like watching him. Yeah, I watched him at first. And I was like, Watched some other people. I was like, whoa, they're bad. I came back to Tom, watched a bunch of his videos. And then eventually I was like, just watching his videos nonstop. I was on night shift at the time, so I had nothing better to do. So I'd watch everything posted at the Dice Tower for 3 to 4, probably 2 or 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then at that point, I was like, I moved to first shift and stuff. And I was like, I want to do this. Because my favorite thing about games is teaching other people how to play them.
Right.
I actually kind of get bored when I'm being taught a game. Because it's taken 50% of the fun out of my experience.
Right.
Because that's just what I enjoy. So that's why if you watch my reviews, they're a little bit stylized with how Tom formats his. Obviously, I probably would have changed it up if I was doing my own stuff on my own channel. But I liked when you go to a channel, you can watch any reviewer and it's very similar styles. I know he doesn't like that. He likes everybody to have their own style.
Right.
But I feel like if I watch a network and they have like 10 reviewers, I feel like I don't have to really think about different things when I'm watching them if they're all the same formats. Mm-hmm. Just different people talking.
Right. So
that's what I kind of did. So I feel like I should put him on here at least as an honorable mention. So that's my honorable mentions.
Your honorable mentions? I will probably go with as a couple, Eddie George and Steve McNair.
Nope.
These are I in my middle school days, Tecmo Super Bowl, playing football on Nintendo, playing backyard football, I guess. But just really into football, watching it at the time, keeping up with it and stuff. But I took a break for a while. And if you're wondering how I became a Titans fan, this is how. So when I played Tecmo Super Bowl, I always played Houston Oilers. And it was because they had, at the time, it was Warren Moon, and they had a good wide receiving core there that could catch all the balls, Ernest Givens and Haywood Jeffries. And so I was more of a passer on Tecmo Bowl. I just love you'd run 20 yards back and throw it all the way down the field. And
I love Hail Marys.
Yeah, and they would catch it. So it was always fun to do that. I always liked putting up big passing stats. So then I whenever I kind of got into the music and everything, I kind of quit watching football and keeping up with it. So there was a 2-3 year stint there where I kind of got away from it. Well, one year I was like, well, let me turn it back on and find the Oilers and see how they're doing. So I'm turning it on, I'm flipping through, and I can't find the Oilers anywhere. But I see this Titans team, and I'm like, who the hell are the Titans? And so over time, I found out that Houston had moved to Tennessee, which I had no knowledge of. And it's the same franchise. They just rebranded themselves into the Tennessee Titans. At the time, the quarterback was Steve McNair, and the running back was Eddie George. These two guys... Eddie George was just this big, massive dude that could run and fall down at the line of scrimmage and get 5 yards. He was just big. He was hard to take down. You weren't dropping him right where you hit him. He was, never on first hit. He's going
carrying
down.
3 or 4 people on him.
It wasn't carrying. It was just he was so tall, and it's like you might hit him and get him off balance, but he's going to get another couple steps before he goes down, kind of deal. But he could just run up the middle. And even if he got hit at the line of scrimmage, he could, stretch out and get a few yards. And he was just a really good runner. He was fast, too. But Steve McNair was the quarterback. This dude got crushed. I've never seen someone play with so many injuries.
Oh, really?
This dude would take damage and he was a trooper. I mean, he is, you hear a lot of football players nowadays complaining about these little goofy injuries.
I stubbed my toe.
Yeah, turf toe. Take that. Turf toe can be
There's
painful.
a real thing?
Turf toe is a real thing, but it's actually pretty painful from what I understand. It's like a torn ligament in your toe.
Oh, gotcha.
Or not torn, it's flexed or something like that, but it's evidently pretty painful. But just watching these two guys, I mean, there was a whole other slew of casts on that team, but those were the quarterback and the running back that I mainly watched. So that's my honorable mention.
Cool.
Because they got me back in football.
Yeah, that's a important thing. I mean, it changes your life, sort of.
Pretty much.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of, no, not really changing my life, but Matt can guess who my number one is.
Matt RoBear.
Oh, whoa. Yes.
Why am I not on your list? No, I know who your number one is.
It's Ronnie Radke.
I'm surprised it wasn't 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But
whatever. I had to follow some rules with this list creation.
Like different trends of this guy, like his different styles. Or no hair one.
No hair.
Prison one.
Gangsta one.
Gangsta one.
Anyway, Ronnie Radke is the singer and pretty much musical creator of the band Falling in Reverse. He also was in Escape the Fate before he went to prison for various thing. It's one thing.
One thing.
Yeah. Anyway, but the biggest thing is he's who I've mimicked vocally for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Not really screaming, but like actual singing and stuff, and just the style. And especially when they was in Escape the Fate, they're very like Motley Crue,
right?
Dressing with belts and different like bondage belts and stuff. Not saying they look like they just look very rock and roll,
very 80s rock and roll. Yeah,
yeah, with a little bit of a modern twist, or at least like using modern like gear and things like that. So he was a little bit edgy and stuff, and just he's got a great voice for the style of music. He's very rock and roll, metal and stuff like that. So, yeah, biggest influence as far as my musical career goes by far. So,
yeah. It's funny. I remember you telling me about a video of a guy that looked like Squall. And, funny enough, that was when we had the computer room and me and the wife had the back-to-back computers, and she would turn around and see me watching that was a video I would watch all the time.
That's an awesome video.
Yeah, it is really good. The song's good. They got the whole Romeo Juliet thing going, the Capulet, Montague thing going on in the video, in a modern twist. So it's and it was just alluring, I guess, just to sit there and watch that video and to just watch it over and over.
It's a great song too.
Yeah, no, and it was another way to listen to the song over and over too.
That was a big influence on our Lilith and Braith song.
I can see that. On
how the vocal patterns overlap.
Right.
If you're curious, the song is called Not Good Enough in Truth or Cliche or something like that.
I knew it had cliche in it, but I always get that big word line mixed up. So
it's the first video by Escape the Fate. And it's on Epitaph Records. Mm-hmm. So I think if you go on Epitaph and just search Escape the Fate, it's one of the very early videos.
Right.
Super good.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Matt, drum roll. Number one, Matt.
I've got a musical influence too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, Pantera?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But Daryl Lance Abbott. Dimebag Daryl.
Dimebag Daryl. I was thinking that. Yeah.
Even though, I did play guitar back in the day, and I could play some of their stuff, but I didn't even try and touch a lot of the solos and stuff. I wasn't that good to play the solo parts of their songs, but I just really respected what he did. And at that time, I guess that was coming out of grunge. And so Pantera was probably like, outside of Metallica, was like one of the first like newer kind of sounding metal bands that I ever got into. That was a new style to me. I like the edginess and that southern rock sound that they had. And I'll never forget the day that one of my buddies came into work and was like, "Did you hear?" I was like,
"Oh yeah."
I was like, "What are you talking about?" And I know exactly in the shop where I was standing when he told me this, and he told me where he had been shot, and I was like, "You're lying."
I have the same feeling about Kurt Cobain when they announced that.
I don't think I could tell you where I was when he died.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. I remember days in school after it happened, but I don't think I remember where I was initially. But yeah, so that was a pretty kind of sad day to me.
It's crazy to think that I thought this was like recent, but it's not really that recent, is it?
What, when he was shot?
Yeah.
2008?
Yeah.
No, 4. Sorry.
2004. See, I keep thinking it's like the 10 range. Because I thought that like we were, doing stuff as a band pretty actively at that point.
I guess not.
But yeah, I know. It's like crazy how far back that was.
Right.
That's like what, 12 years ago?
Yeah.
That's nuts. It's always sad.
Yeah.
I mean,
it sucked. I was pretty upset by it. And even though that was,
Was it just a crazed fan?
It was a crazy fan, yeah.
It's like the whole Bjork thing, right?
Well, he blamed him for breaking Pantera up. Is why it was. And that's what I was going to say. I was starting to say was even though it wasn't with Pantera, but at that time you always had that like feeling like maybe they could get back together. Yeah,
like because they're still. It's like maybe they could make a real Ghostbusters movie.
Yeah,
but not now.
Yeah, but at that time, even though that that band was really there was a lot of tension there. That last album, I think they recorded it where Phil never even got with them. They just like recorded the music, shipped it to him, and he did vocals over it and gave it back.
Oh, really? What was the feud over?
They just weren't getting along, I think. I think part of the problem was he was going into like hearsay. I think he was saying he had back problems and didn't want to tour with them and was trying to put off, pretty much hold their musical career back. But then I think he went on tour with Down.
Oh.
And then they were like,
hypocrite.
Yeah, dude, really?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So I think that kind of sparked a big problem with them. But yeah, so that Dimebag Darrell.
Fair enough. Well, if you have any suggestions on what you would like to hear.
Oh, real quick. He was also, back in the day, I had posters of him. He was like one of the few people I had like posters of in my room.
Oh, is this like, would you like rub on him like with your hand and be like,
no,
good night, Dimebag.
No,
going to sleep.
Not that kind of thing. But I just,
this got weird.
I didn't have a lot of like musical posters in my room, but I had them of him. So
gotcha.
And it was actually mainly like bifolds out of magazines and stuff. But
I've got him of Ronnie.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, over there. But it's signed by the whole band.
Oh, okay.
And so is Escape the Fate. Boom. Anyway, what I was going to say, though, is if you have any kind of, if you request for top fives that you might want to hear, like what's your top five, whatever, spaghettis. We're not going to do that one. But if you have any that are interesting, let us know. You can comment on the video if you're watching YouTube, or like I said, email us or whatever. And so anyway, I guess we're wrapping up episode 12, right?
Yep.
Yeah.